Jake Claver has outdone Jake Claver. $100,000 price prediction for XRP by 2030. He believes that over 85% of the world's assets will be tokenized over the next 4 years, and most of that will be transacted on the XRP ledger. I'm going to give you facts and analysis of where we are today and what other analysts and other leaders in the blockchain space are predicting, and let you be the judge if this is crazy or if he's right on. Let's go ahead and all we can do is play it and get into the facts.
The 5-year conservative price prediction for XRP. Well, that's 2030. At that point, 80 to 85% of all real world assets will be tokenized on chain is my conservative estimate. It could be more. And if that's the case, you're looking at easily a $50,000 to $100,000 XRP with derivatives. I know that sounds crazy. You can call me whatever you want. I watched Bitcoin go from, what it was 15 years ago to what it is today. And I think XRP will move at a much faster pace than that.
All right, let's take a look at some of these numbers here just to give you some context of where we are. The value projected to be tokenized by 2030 varies greatly depending on the institution or research group making the estimate, but the highest figures, the highest published figures by major firms are $30 trillion. All right. The most cited and high estimate is from Standard Chartered, which forecasts $30 trillion by 2030. Boston Consulting Group regularly references a $16 trillion figure by 2030, and Ripple itself and Boston Consulting Group have also referenced a scenario where 18.9 trillion is tokenized by 2033. More conservative institutional forecasts predicted Royland Berger over 10 trillion, McKinsey at 2 to 4 trillion, and Fireblocks at 5 trillion. So just to give you some idea and understanding of how much money that we actually are talking about here is the global real estate market is anywhere between 400 and 650 trillion. This number, we haven't even gotten to, 20 or 30 billion in total. We are less than 0.01% in tokenized assets. Global stocks is 145 trillion. We are less than 0.001%. Global bonds is 120 trillion. We are less than 0.001%. Global treasuries is 28.6 trillion. We are less than 0.001%. Money markets are 12.3 trillion. We are less than 0.01%. Sovereign wealths, you can kind of see, guys, we are at zero tokenization on some of these. Global debt, zero. And so Jake is kind of going against every major financial institution, including Ripple, with the estimates here. Now, I do think there is a world where Jake is right here on how many assets come on chain and how quickly they do. And I'll tell you why I believe that. I think that there's going to become a point where all of these financial institutions, stocks, bonds, derivatives, what have you, will move to the blockchain. And so what do? Do you have half of the system on the legacy system and then you slowly drip in 1%, 2%, 3%? No, I think it'll be kind of more of a big bang rollover. I think the testing and the infrastructure that has been built out over the last 5 to 10 years has really set the groundwork for a big move and a shift. So some of these numbers obviously could be lower. Some of these numbers could be a lot higher, but I just wanted to tell you exactly what the facts are and where we are right now. I hope understanding all of that will give you a better sense of where we are to go. Now, somebody also sent me this about top assets outside of XRP, and I just wanted to play what Jake says, give you some additional information on these assets, as well as give you my personal opinion on his choices here.
Which coins do you like for a long-term portfolio, 15 years? If you had to give 7 coins, obviously XRP being the largest position. Okay. Actually just did this with one of the family offices that we're working with. So XRP, like you mentioned, XLM, HBAR, Hash, XDC, Avalanche, and Chainlink would be my 7 that I think are going to gain a very significant portion of the market share over the next 15 years. Those would be the 7 tokens if I had gun to my head.
All right, let's just take a look at some of these, right? So we know XRP, we talk about it every single day here on the channel. It's crazy to see XRP at 239 with the ETFs just days away. To go from, like Jake's predicting, $100 to $1,000 for ETFs here over the next few weeks, and we're at 239 right now. Just really exciting to see what actually happens here. Regardless, I think it's going to be a big step forward for the XRP and crypto space to see one of our most beloved favorite assets finally on the stock market is going to be just truly insane. All right. So Hedera here at 17 cents. This was one of Jake's predictions. I always tell people that I like Hedera too. I own a little bit of Hedera. Hedera is considered a critical player in the blockchain and distributed ledger space due to its unique technology, high throughput in enterprise partnerships, and robust ecosystem. The average person should understand that HBAR is both the fuel for Hedera network and a core component in securing its operations, with a growing base of adoption across various industries and big corporations. What makes Hedera important? Hedera uses a novel consensus algorithm called Hashgraph, which differs from block-based structure and traditional chains like Bitcoin and Ethereum. This method allows for extremely fast transactions, up to 10,000 transactions per second, low fees, and strong security using asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance, also known as ABFT, making the network highly resilient against attacks. The platform is designed to meet enterprise needs, offering features like fair ordering, fast finality, and carbon negative operations. It's scalable and efficiently make it attractive for real world applications such as supply chain transparency and Internet of Things connectivity. Also, key points the average person should know: HBAR is a native token. HBAR holders can stake HBAR to participate in the network. HBAR supply is capped around 50 billion tokens. The governance model is highly decentralized, run by a council of global organizations, ensuring transparency. And we have seen some of the biggest companies involved with Hedera, companies like Google, IBM, Boeing, just to name a few. And of course, NVIDIA and several others are also key players. And here's the technology, network fuel, staking, governance, all the little details that you need. Now, Chainlink is also something I've been mentioning for years on this channel, in live streams and in my community Cryptonaires. And why Chainlink is important here: Chainlink is crucial to the digital asset space because it provides decentralized Oracle services that bridge blockchains within the real world data, enabling smart contracts to interact with off-chain information reliably and securely. This functionality solves the Oracle problem, allowing smart contracts to access external data like price feeds, weather info, tokenized asset reserves, and much more, which are essential for DeFi, stablecoins, insurance payments, and institutional finance for use cases. You wonder, like, how does information get updated across the blockchain space? Well, that is Oracle's. How do you update information from the legacy world and the blockchain space? That is where Chainlink is going to play a vital role. Chainlink isn't really used for settlements though. So it's going to be a mixture of technology. It's going to be like Chainlink Hedera, Chainlink XRP. And I think Chainlink is going to be, I'd imagine Chainlink will be thousands of dollars over the next 10 years. That's my personal feeling. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor, so take that with what you will, but that's what I believe. For the average person, the key takeaway is that Chainlink makes blockchain smart contracts truly useful beyond isolated ledgers and delivering verified real-world information to them. This means contracts can automatically trigger actions based on external events, created trusted automation-powered applications for finance, insurance, gaming, and supply chains. All right. Now, XDC was something that was mentioned. I remember buying XDC back in like 2021. Man, what a crazy times, right? Like back in this area right here, 2020, 2021, before the big boom. If I knew what I do now, I probably would have just bought like tens of millions of XDC, kind of kicking myself. Obviously, if you could go back in time, you do things differently, but XDC is going to be a vital piece here. XDC's market cap right now is just $1 billion. So if you look at XRP sitting at 144 billion, if XDC reached XRP's market cap, that would be 144x from today's prices. Now, the reason XDC is important here, it is an EVM compatible layer 1, known for its very low fees, high speed security, and strong utility in global trade finance and real world asset tokenization with carbon neutral credentials and robust institutional partnerships. XDC Network achieves nearly instant transactions under 2 seconds and extremely low cost, about 2,000 transactions per second. Its primary use cases are for real world asset tokenizations, global trade finance, DeFi stablecoin settlement, and decentralized physical infrastructure, also known as DePIN. XDC 2.0 introduced major upgrades in consensus, compliance, and cross-chain interoperability, including integration with Layer 0 and Stargate and Omnichain liquidity. And then major partnerships here: Contour acquisition. In 2025, XDC acquired Contour, a platform backed by top banks like HSBC, Citi, BNP Paribas, Standard Chartered, DBS, ING, Bangkok Bank, and CTBC, enhancing global trade finance and LC tokenization. They also have partnerships with ArcX, Plug and Play, collaboration, and a few other things here. If you're interested in getting some more information, you can pause the video here. The global impact here, we kind of talked about DeFi, stablecoin issuance, and of course, supply chains. All right, AVAX. AVAX is an asset that I believe will do really well. You can see in the last cycle, we were at $134. Right now, we're sitting at about $17. The reason AVAX is important is a high performance, scalable, and customizable blockchain platform known for enterprise partnerships and rapid adoption across sectors such as finance, payments, and digital assets. AVAX is the native token of the Avalanche network used for transaction fees, staking, governance, and subnet creation. The platform can process over 4,500 transactions per second with a sub 2-second finality, outperforming many layer 1 blockchains like Ethereum and Bitcoin. Avalanche architecture supports 3 built-in chains: X-Chain, P-Chain, C-Chain. Okay. A-Chain's next, right? Enabling asset transfer, subnet management, and EVM compatibility. I just think we could get a little bit more creative on the names. All good though. This is just me being whatever. AVAX has capped a supply at 720 million tokens, so a lot less than some other networks. And of course, major partnerships: Amazon Web Services, Tencent, Alibaba Cloud, MasterCard, Visa, JP Morgan and Apollo, Deloitte, Andretti Formula E, Sky Bridge Capital, TIS Inc., and FIFA. So AVAX, a really big deal and probably going to be worth a lot as this blockchain infrastructure gets adopted globally. Now, Stellar, you could call this XRP's, twin, maybe not twin, maybe younger brother, younger sister, distant cousin. I don't know how you would describe Stellar. Of course, Jed McCaleb, one of the original founders and creators of the XRP ledger, had some differences at Ripple in 2014, decided to go his own way and build his own chain, took XRP's code, created XLM, and boom, you have Stellar. Stellar's more focused on the retail side, where XRP is more focused and Ripple's more focused on the institutional side. I do think Stellar is probably undervalued here at 9 billion market cap at 28 cents. And so some of the most important things you need to know about Stellar: it's an open source decentralized blockchain platform built to make global finance interaction faster, more affordable, and accessible, especially for cross-border payments and asset tokenization. Stellar's importance to the global financial system is rooted in its unique ability to connect disparate currencies, financial institutions, and markets, efficiently bridging the gap between traditional banking systems and digital finance. Why Stellar matters? Stellar addresses long-standing inefficiencies in international payments by offering near instant finality, 2 to 5 seconds with fees at a fraction of a cent compared to days-long settlement times and high fees typically used with Nostro, Vostro interbank process. Its architecture uses the Stellar Consensus Protocol and the Federated Byzantine Agreement, which achieves consensus much faster than proof-of-work blockchains, allowing for thousands of transactions per second. Stellar's biggest partnerships that you should know about is Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Stripe, MoneyGram, Franklin Templeton, WisdomTree, Paxos, Ondo, Earth Etherfuse, SG Forge, and Salesforce. Baller. All right. Some of the stuff that I threw in here is Solana. You cannot dispute that Solana is one of the most talked about assets when it comes to institutional adoption. Solana has had a very, I think that the meme coin market on the the Solana network, I probably shouldn't have had Stellar and Solana back to back. I do apologize. I do think Solana, with its kind of meme coin craze, has really maybe kind of tarnished. I don't know. I don't love a lot of projects on Solana because the first thing I think about when somebody says, hey, Sensei, here's a project on Solana, I'm like, oh God, is this another scam? Like, that is what my brain automatically goes to. Just like when somebody sends me a token on BNB, the first thing I think about is scam. And so I think Solana will move away from this. And I know there's probably a lot of Solana maxis out there that would disagree with just my thought process, but hey, my channel, this is how I feel. I'm going to tell you what it is. But I think when it comes to institutional adoption, you are seeing a lot of demand for the Solana ETF, the spot ETF. And I think Solana, I said this a long time ago, I believe in this market, $600 to $800 probably could go higher. I do think over the next few years, Solana will be $5,000, $10,000. I truly believe that with mass adoption, you're going to see some crazy prices for some of these assets. Ethereum. I know it's not a favorite topic of this channel, but I do think Ethereum is very important. I do think Ethereum will be $100,000 over the next 10 years. If you think XRP is going to go to $1,000, Ethereum is going to go with it, right? The whole market is going to go with it. If Bitcoin's successful, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, all of this stuff will be successful. Now, if I get this question a lot, like, do I buy 1 Ethereum or do I buy, 20 Solana or do I buy, a few thousand XRP? That is the tough question here, right? Where do you think will have more value? If Ethereum is going to go to 100,000, that's really what, like a 30x or less than that from where we are today. If XRP goes to 1,000, that's hundreds of X's, right? And so I always tell people that if they're getting to the crypto market, obviously talk with a financial advisor. But if you want to spread out your risk, I think the three most impactful here, or four most impactful, would be Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and Chainlink. Those are the four that I would recommend people that are now entering the space. If they want to take the least amount of risk going forward, those assets would be the highest priority in my belief. All right. I just wanted to go through these projects, guys. I think there's a lot of value in giving you this information. I hope this shines some light onto what assets I think are going to perform the best over the next few years. I think it's valuable to understand what some more of the bullish people in the community like Jake are talking about with tokenization. Are we going to get this big boom, this flip of the switch, this moment where all of these assets wind up on chain overnight? Or is it going to be more of a slow roll for the next 10 to 20 years? I'll let you decide. We'll play this out together. We will be here hand in hand, glove to glove, whatever you want to call it. Thank you for being here. I'm Crypto Sensei. I'll see you next time. Aloha.